Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the end of our 116th season of the New York Browning Society. We've been operating since 1907 here in Manhattan, and we've been doing this New York City high school-wide poetry competition for 45 years. Pretty impressive, huh? I want to thank everybody for coming out, all the winners. This is the inaugural, we've renamed the competition to the Downey NYC High School Poetry Awards. Stephen Downey was the former president of the society who unfortunately passed recently, but he was one of the few people that really pushed this contest to become what it is today. When I started dealing with the contest 12, 13 years ago, I think we had maybe 35, 40 schools that we invited. Now we're up to over 125 plus public, parochial, and private schools. So just know this is the cream of the crop of New York City, and I want to thank all of you guys for coming out here. So there's a couple of things that I'd like to say in regards to the performances. We're gonna really just enjoy the poems by all the award-winning students today. I want to say that make sure the microphone is right on your face, right? And we want to read the poem slowly. So whereas you see on the program there's a poem by Robert Browning, I might be wanting to say, it once might have been once only, we lodged in a street together, you a sparrow on the housetop lonely, I a lone she-bird of a sparrow. Too fast. So just to give an example, it would be something to the effect of, and I'm telling you, this is gonna help. It once might have been once only, we lodged in a street together, you a sparrow on the housetop lonely, I a lone she-bird of his feather. So the louder, the closer you are, and the slower you go, the better everyone's going to be able to hear you and to understand the words that you're using. And that's important, because then we're just going to have to ask you to do it again slower if you don't. So, but nonetheless, we have all of our 6 winners here. Wow, we have all of our 6 winners here. And I don't necessarily know exactly how you guys feel about order or how comfortable you are. So let me just say, let me ask you a question. Who wants to go first? That guy, I know. All right. So let's get this thing started. Once again, I'm James Browning Keppel. I'm the president of the New York Browning Society. It's been an absolute pleasure to read all of your poems, to go through this. This is one of the few highlights of the season. Well, I mean, I have a lot of highlights, but this is my favorite part of the season, where I get to see all the talented youth writing such immaculate poems. And this particular high school has had several winners in the past, and we want to invite up our first speaker, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give a warm round of applause for Javien Vasquez for Xavier High School. Good evening, everyone. It's Javien. What? Thank you all for coming. Javien Vasquez, ladies and gentlemen. I titled this poem "Maelstrom of the Heart." It's a little bit romantic, written for no one in particular. Curious vision, sitting on the horizon, a beautiful sight. Seen from a distance, oh so fascinating. Awaiting impact, a connection, a word. I see you, my heart pounding at a sight so bracing. I crave only this storm to stir the waters of my ford. I'm floored, impact, beautiful, dangerous, my desire rent. A beauty no less than objective than fact. Unshackled by concern, simply elegant. Not just the beauty, but the feeling. Not just the face, but the heart. Your laugh, a thundercrack, soul stealing. How strange, the first time I've been given such a start. A bolt to the mind, a desire for you to be mine. To capture this storm, so furious and yet warm. Furious, impactful, and yet...
Hi. Yep. You're all set. Have a good night. Thank you, you too.
All sense as I should run. And yet, I desire nothing but becoming closer. The risk was fun. Trapped in your eyes, the eye, this eye. To leave would mean that my heart would die. Stuck in the center of a torrent, serene and benign, a window to the soul, a gateway inside, only magnifying my desire for the storm to be mine. A moment passed, gone too soon. Was it not meant to last? Stunning grace, slipping away far too fast, gone with the wind, left for the past. The maelstrom rages on, and yet it feels peaceful, a warm feeling beget. Gone down the line, propelled along rails. I reminisce about it now, a quest to reclaim that embrace I shall not fail. Lord, I stare at the sky, simply wondering at my luck. Why? For now, all I desire is to gaze once more into the eye. Thank you.
Just want to let you know, and maybe just let you know.
Penn Station. New York City, Penn Station, which is forward. Facing forward. Okay.
And so at the end of the thing, I'm thinking that we're going to have all the kids come up if we can and just like ask, if we can ask them questions or they can discuss or whatever, if that sounds like a great idea. We have 3 shortlisters on the Zoom. We're going to bring them in. Well, let's see. I'm just going to call out random and see how people do. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Kaitlyn Owens of the Notre Dame School of Manhattan.
Sit together, like behind the whole. Okay, this is 3.
This is called Painting Love.
Our
Our love is like an unfinished piece of art, filled with colors and shades that set us apart. My mistakes were what love could have been. Maybe I was blinded by my optimism within. Losing you was vibrant blue, like the tears I cried. Missing you was a somber gray, like the love we tried. Maybe our mosaic hearts were never meant to be aligned, since I was picking up the pieces you left behind. So watch me strike this final match to all my wasted time with the pain attack. Maybe I was naive for thinking you could never change, but I didn't know our love was made to be contained. I took my chance, I grasped it. I thought I was bulletproof, but I was not. You and I have always walked a fragile line, and I never knew of this painful design. You widened my horizons in this short amount of time, even if I never planned on you changing your mind. The paintbrush drops as the colors start to fade, just as my love for you slowly decays.
Once again, winner, Kaitlyn Owens, 2022. I still vote for competition. All right, we're going to get him back up. Don't you worry. Let's see here. So we have 4 more winners. We just do boy, girl, right? I'm going to bring up Francesco, ladies and gentlemen. Macias from All Hallows High School in the Bronx.
Hello, everybody. Forgive me if I mess up. This is my first time doing this. So, my poem is called Unforgettably Forgettable. In memories, we find an unforgettable, cherished light that guides us through life's endless and unpredictable flight. But when a mind succumbs to cruel, dementia's blight, our once treasured memories begin to fade. With confusion and forgetfulness starting to take hold, the cherished moments become a story unfold, and we are left with nothing but despair and woe as precious memories cease to flow. But let us not lose hope in this plight, for even in the depths of a forgetful night, we can still find moments of pure delight and bask in the joy that's bright. For just like in Confessions, we can see, even in the midst of life's uncertainty, there is still a sense of love and sweetness, a joyous plea. which we can hold on, making us eternally free. So let us cherish the memories that for the time being remain, and find comfort in the love that never wins. For though they may forget, it is not in vain, and love will always light the way once again.
Again, Francesco, winner, 2023 New York City Poetry High School Awards. Right. So, let's see. All right, so let's bring up, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring up a poet. We've had a long history with this poetry competition with a couple of different high schools. Xavier High School being one of them, and Gramercy Arts High School. They're both in the same region. We used to meet at the National Arts Club, so we had them involved in a lot of our events. But thank goodness there's a new staff going on at Gramercy Arts High School. Let's give a warm round of applause for Hanna-Rebecca Douglas.
This poem is called BC, after the initials of my two dogs. The day dawned, but that doesn't matter much to the balls of fur at my feet. They lie curled, tired out from a long night of scrambling down the hall. Feet bared and tails up, they dash through the night, illuminating the darkness with streaks of light. Later, one launches into the air like a bird, while the other becomes one with the ground underneath, both thinking about what to do when the world wakes up. As the sun rises into space, they bark incessantly, their most important words being the sound of the elevator. They know nothing about responsibility, not the worry of chasing the green papers of the station, nor sitting quietly as information is feed into their brain. When the day goes by, they simply tug on a rope and chew on a toy, digging their heels into the planks, a fire alight in their eyes. The squeak rings across the building, further strengthening their determination, where their only concern was about who would win their contest, not their safety somewhere to break in, nor the ravenous hunger of the fire. Finally, the door creaks open. I try to walk, as they leap happily at me, whining and barking their complaints for the day. The toy resurfaces as they bring it to my feet, speaking endlessly at every bite. They do not know about the exhaustion I have for the day, nor the rush, as I try to understand the most of my son's instinct, nor the taxing weight of speeding past as I try not to fall asleep in time to get home. They barely know anything at all. They stare with their curious eyes and gaping mouths, wondering about whatever duties a four-legged creature may have. I wonder what they would do if they were to have the experience of a human, and what I would do if I had the blissful simplicity of a dog.
Hanna-Rebecca Douglas, ladies and gentlemen, 2023 New York City High School Poetry Award winner. All right. That leaves two more. In here. Okay, good boy. This is a high school that I wasn't familiar with. Apparently, it's a public school, new initiative. But either way, I think it's there's a correlation with Uptown Stories, right? Jane LaCroix is joining us as one of the teachers for Uptown Stories, and she's done a fantastic job with a lot of these kids. And let's bring up one of hers all the way from the NYC iSchool, Noah Meserve.
Noah Meserve. Screenshot on you.
Nothing. All right. I'm too tall for that. Okay. This is an ode to a replicant, to a lie. Once, when we were young, and everything seemed so simple and fun, we thought the world was vibrant, like a meadow of flowers. Nobody ever thought, not once, that those flowers were hidden so deeply in defeat. A veil of defeat, the everything that we came to know as we grew older and weary. The flowers grew more and more dreary. The sun, extinguished by shadow, made itself ever present in our lives. Will we be haunted again by such a sun, such a field of flowers? When I look up at the sun now, I see brightness. A blinding light it is, once more to me. I feel the weight of my replicant, my lie, lifted off my shoulders. Have we been fighting in vain? This tree I stand by, full of birds. This field of flowers, so vibrant with the colors I have sought for so long. I look out at my work, my effort and my pain and my dreams. I am reminded of that blackened sun, which looked at me so ruthlessly before. Often, I look back at my life. I see who I was, my replicant, a fake, a fraud, struggling under the shadow that would become both his shining light and his extinguished sun. Never again, I tell myself, never again. Never will I let that delusion come back to haunt me again. Though the thunder's rage is quieted at last, the nightmare has laid itself bare before me to gaze at all it was, hidden so deep in veils of deceit. I hope that I will never again be imprisoned, not by the replicant, the blackened sun, the lie, nor the prison of twisting spells. I will not let the fiends make me their plaything again. I will live in the vibrant flower field by the tree with the birds. My dream. Thank you.
Again for Noah, winner of the 2023 High School Poetry Award. All right, down to the final winner. This is a poem based upon a Elizabeth Barrett Browning poem. I'm kind of curious as if she would want to read the poem as well. It's up to her, but I think she might need to. But let's give a round of applause all the way from Frank McCourt High School, Grace Katsivelos.
This is a melancholy kind of cold. Melancholy is such a beautiful word to describe a feeling I do find beautiful. It is the personification of the mundane. It is fresh rain and the color green. It is a feeling that somehow I deeply enjoy. It is cozy days during the in-between season. It makes me feel interesting. It makes me feel. But just like how you might love driving fast before the crash, this feeling brings danger. It is what comes before the depression. It is the cool but not the cold. And fall can fool you, tell you that you love the cold, but you do not yet know winter. And the
Once again, folks, this is train at 64. If you got on here in Albany and you're going anywhere other than New York City, if you were going to Hudson, Rhine, Cliff, Poughkeepsie, Fulton, Armory, Yonkers, you want to head towards the back of the train so you can exit the train at your destination.
Sure, I've never read it out loud before. But
Once again for Grace, ladies and gentlemen.
okay. I tell you, hopeless grief is passionless. That only men of indicrolus of despair have half taught in anguish through the midnight air, beat upward to God's throne in loud access of shrieking and reproach, full desertness in souls as countries leap silent bare under the blanching vertical eye glare of absolute heaven. Deep-hearted man, express grief for thy dead in silence, like to death, most like a monumental statue set in everlasting, moveless woe, till itself crumble to the dust beneath. Touch it, the marble eyelids are not wet. If it could weep, it would arise and go.
Once again, great Katsivelos, 2023 Poetry Award contest here in New York City. Now, we have such an opportunity to look through so many different entries from so many different high schools across the public, parochial, and private range. We received a great amount of submissions this year. And so every year we have 6 winners, but we also include 4 on the short list. These are the winners that were just about to make the prize, and typically they are under, they're not seniors, so they have a chance to win the next year. And we have one of those winners. We have 2 of them online with us, but let's bring it out. Let's give a warm round of applause for one of our short list winners, Claudia Wysocky, 9th grade out of the Mary Louise Academy.
I wrote a poem based on Robert Browning's poem, Home Thoughts from Abroad. Oh, how lovely it is to reminisce about Poland and its winter bliss, a world once transformed by snow and ice, a sight so breathtaking it felt like paradise. The trees, once bare, now dressed in white, a scene that filled our hearts with light. The snowflakes falling oh so gently, blanketing the earth so perfectly. The lakes and rivers frozen solid, a playground for all, young and old. With skating sledges, we would glide and play, creating memories that forever stay. And though the cold made us shiver, our loved ones in our arms we would deliver. Their warmth, a comfort we held so dear, a reminder that winter is nothing to fear. Oh, Poland in winter, a magical place, where nature's beauty we will embrace. A land where memories are based, a winter wonderland that will never fade.
Well, yes, thank you so much. Now, let's see. Are our Zoom people online? Can you turn off your microphone or turn on your microphones and just say hello, hi, how are you? Kristen, Nicole, are you there with us?
Hello.
Hi.
Nicole, you with us?
Yes.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello.
Hi.
Nicole.
Hello? Yes. Hello? Hello?
We hear her?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Nicole,
Okay.
welcome back.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Thanks for joining us on the Zoom today. Are you enjoying the program so far?
Yes.
Well, excellent. So are you ready to read your poem?
Yes.
And you are with the Notre Dame High School?
Yes.
All right, so let's give a warm round of applause for Nicole Morado out of the Notre Dame High School, ladies and gentlemen.
My poem is a religious poem and it's called The Whisper. As I walk alone in the dark, I can no longer feel your presence. The road ahead leads me farther away. My heart grows cold and full of doubt as I continue my sadness blooms. In the darkness, you whisper my name like an echo reflected from a mountaintop. I can hear your words against my ear. Your voice is like a gift I cannot see. If I answer your call, then I must turn around. But if I turn around, I must admit that in some quiet corner of my soul, yours is a presence I always feel, a presence of joy, love, and reverence that lies dormant in some small part of me. Once again, you call out to me. Only this time, it's not a whisper. Yours is a roar heard across the seas. Your call is strong and commanding. and gentle and patient and familiar. You know my name. You just need to turn. Listen to the voice deep inside your soul. I turn around and I catch a glimpse of the magnificent blaze of glory before me. I am in awe. I am hypnotized. The flames rage, frightening yet not inviting. The fire calls me. It pulls me in. I hear your voice in a majestic blaze. Be sealed with the gift of the Holy Spirit. I am not afraid and I walk through it. I welcome the warmth of your light. White doves of peace fly overhead. My heart is joyful. I am enlightened. I know your voice. I now remember. Purifying showers, a distant memory. My praying hands, a sign of faith, and a communion of eternity during our last encounter. I walk with thee, O Lord, forevermore.
Give it up for Nicole Morado of the Notre Dame High School here in Manhattan, New York City. We have one more shortlister that is available. Unfortunately, it looks like Frank Dolvin of the Frank Sinatra School of Performing Arts will not be joining us, but we still have Kristen No. Are you with us, Kristen?
Hello.
Hi, and you are at the World Preparatory Journalism School, World Journalism Preparatory School?
Yes.
All right, are you excited to read your poem today in front of this beautiful audience?
Yeah.
Let's give a warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Kristen No.
Okay, my poem is called Burnout. My edges, once sharp, are dull and round. Waves of regret, I feel drowned. My shattered dreams glisten for all to see. In my reflection are my parents. I'll be their perfect prodigy. My wildest dreams, they crumble now. In place of the hopes that my parents allow. To gain their approval is my goal. So I'll be their puppet, play the role. To hear those 3 words fall from their lips, I'll even work till my very soul chips. But what happens when their little girl isn't perfect anymore? So broken and tired, focusing on a score. Defined by a number, I let it take control. Try to piece myself together, but I'm no longer whole. Their golden angel, how she's fallen so fast. Her wings have been clipped, she'll no longer last. They say time heals, but what if I'm broken? Did all of this to hear 3 words unspoken. Running a marathon, but stuck in a sphere. There's no end in sight, no one's here. I'll tread on broken glass if it means that I bleed. So be it, I'll do it to succeed. My parents' wishes, they're complete. If so, why do I feel this overwhelming defeat? Thank you.
Warm round of applause for Kristen No, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to let everybody know that we will have this beautiful video of all of our performers available and their award-winning text online this weekend. I'm going to send out an email to all you guys so that you'll have an update as soon as that goes live. But what I'm thinking now would be an excellent opportunity, since we do have all these award-winning students here with us, is if they could join us on stage and we could be able to ask some questions about what their inspiration was. Does that sound like a good idea? Give a warm round of applause. We need one more chair. Here. Right. I don't think it's cooked up yet. That's fine. We'll just use this one. All right. So, Kaitlyn, first, what was your inspiration for this poem?
I was inspired by Elizabeth Browning's poem, Bianca Among Nightingales.
And what inspired you about that poem to write your particular poem?
I thought it was a really meaningful poem on her perception of love. So I decided to write my poem on a perception of love as well.
Just out of curiosity, would you guys like to hear that award-winning poem one more time from Kaitlyn Owens?
Our love was like an unfinished piece of art, filled with colors and shades that set us apart. My mistake for what love could have been. Maybe I was blinded by my optimism within. Losing you was vibrant blue like the tears I cried. Missing you was somber gray like the love we tried. Maybe our mosaic hearts were never meant to be aligned, since I was picking up the pieces you left behind. So watch me strike this final match, to all my wasted time with the pain attached. Maybe I was naive for thinking we could never change, but I didn't know our love was made to interchange. I took my chance, I grasped my shot. I thought I was bulletproof, but I was not. You and I have always walked a fragile line, but I never knew of this painful design. You widened my horizons in a short amount of time, even if I never planned on changing your mind. The paintbrush drops as the colors start to fade, just as my love for you slowly decayed.
Now, she submitted 2 poems. Do you want to read the second one? It's on the paper.
The beauty within, mirror, mirror on the wall, why do you only show one side of the girl? My outside appearance is one you will never control anymore. Something was missing deep down inside because you're a liar and a fraud all the time. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you can't control me anymore. I see beauty within myself because you don't know me at all. No more empty stomach or empty words, only love and beautiful curls. Mirror, mirror on the wall, there's more to me than you'll ever know. I am kind and love to laugh hysterically. My beauty goes further than the body I behold, or the number the scale will always show. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you should see the happiness I behold. Now that I'm free from you at last, I find myself missing what I never even had. I thought you were my friend, but you never were. Only someone I knew and watched me fall over and over. Mirror, mirror on the wall, you missed my life when it wasn't destroyed, only staying for the dark times, missing the times that made my dark brown eyes glow, or the memories my friends have given me within this long little show. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I know you missed the painful memories we had, but life has been beautiful without you. My insecurities no longer eating me inside. I am strong and you are weak. No one can tell me differently. Now that you are down, I don't have to look at you anymore. I found peace within myself that you can never control. It's weird not seeing you hung up on my favorite wall, since now the spot is empty waiting for a new mural.
Do we have any questions for Kaitlyn? We have a panel right here, some of the best New York City high school poetry contestants right now. Any questions? All right, let's move down. Let's go for Grace. What inspired you, other than this particular Elizabeth Barrett Browning poem that was entitled Grief, to write Melancholy?
I actually remember the day I wrote this poem. I've always thought about what I wrote. I always sort of enjoy being sad, but then it goes too far, and I think about that a lot. But I was at a farmer's market in Irvington, and it was cold and kind of rainy, but it wasn't raining. And I wasn't happy, but I wasn't sad. And I felt so good the whole day. And then I went home and wrote about it.
Can you hear it one more time?
Sure. A melancholy kind of cold. Melancholy. It's such a beautiful word to describe a feeling I do find beautiful. It is the personification of the mundane. It is fresh rain and the color green. It is a feeling that somehow I deeply enjoy. It is cozy days during the in-between seasons. It makes me feel interesting. It makes me feel. But just like how you might love driving fast before the crash, this feeling brings danger. It is what comes before the depression. It is the cool but not the cold. And fall can fool you, tell you that you love the cold, but you do not yet know winter and the wicked way it freezes your toes.
The next up is the paramour of the survival of our species, Noah. Just out of curiosity, you have a particularly named poem in which you regard a replicant, right? Now, I would like to understand what your inspiration for that is. Is it Blade Runner, or what your definition of replicant is?
Well, it's not Blade Runner. Sorry, Dad. I know you love that movie. Something that really inspired me for this one, other than the Browning poem, which I am ashamed to say I can't remember the name of right now. My memory is really not good with names. But other than that, it's a song that I really, really love that I'm going to gatekeep proudly from all of you. Sorry, guys. But I really, really loved it. I love the way they used words, and I kind of wanted to write like how it wrote. And also it was 12 o'clock in the morning, and I was pretty emotional, and I wanted to write about change. Yeah. Sure, got my papers up there. Yeah. Give it up for Noah, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for your legs with the quote. Yeah. An ode to a replicant, to a lie. Once, when we were young, and everything seemed so simple and fun, we thought the world was vibrant, like a meadow of flowers. Nobody ever thought, not once, that those flowers were hidden so deeply in deceit. A veil of deceit, the everything that we came to know as we grew older and weary. The flowers grew more and more dreary. The sun, extinguished by shadow, made itself ever present in our lives. Will we be haunted again by such a sun, such a field of flowers? When I look up at the sun now, I see brightness, a blinding light it is, once more to me. I feel the weight of my replicant, my lie, lifted off my shoulders. Have we been fighting in vain? This tree I stand by, full of birds, this field of flowers, so vibrant with the colors I have sought for so long. I look out at my work, my effort and my pain and my dreams. I am reminded of that blackened sun, which looked at me so ruthlessly before. Often, I look back at my life. I see who I was, my replicant, a fake, a fraud, struggling under a shadow that would become both his shining light and his extinguished sun. Never again, I tell myself, never again. Never will I let that delusion come back to haunt me again. Though the thunder's rage is quieted at last, the nightmare has laid itself bare before me to gaze at all it was, hidden so deep in veils of deceit. I hope that I will never again be imprisoned, not by the replicant, the blackened sun, the lie, nor the prison of twisting spells. I will not let the fiends make me their plaything again. I will live in the vibrant flower field by the tree with the birds, my dream.
Now, Javien, Xavier High School, Mary Grace Gannon, one of the best teachers I've ever met in my life. She is one of the most important people that I've ever met as far as encouraging young people to write poetry in this interesting world where you don't find much poetry in the curriculum in the high schools these days. That's why I'm very proud that this competition exists, because it gives an excuse for great teachers like her to inspire people like you. What inspired you to write this poem?
The week before this poem, I found out about this competition, I was chosen to be Poetry Club president. I felt as though I had to submit something to this competition, or else the guys in the Poetry Club would feel like I was a buffoon, a farce, fraudster. And I was looking through all of my collections of poems at like 9 p.m. the night of the competition, and I found what is a Maelstrom of the Heart, which is basically, I want to say, my first love. It was my first envoy onto the ocean that is the written word. And it was from ages ago in this journal that I keep in my right pocket. It's on one of the first pages. And I don't even think that I had someone in mind when I wrote it. I was just in a romantic mood, I suppose, like I am when I'm in a writing mood. I'm writing most of my poems. So I guess it just kind of came through my pen onto the page, and that's how this was born. Maelstrom of the heart. Curious vision, sitting on the horizon, a beautiful sight. Seen from a distance, oh so fascinating. Awaiting impact, a connection, a word. I see you, my heart pounding at a sight so bracing. I crave only the storm to stir the waters of my ford. I am floored, impact, beautiful, dangerous, my desire rent. A beauty no less than objective than fact. Unshackled by concern, simply elegant. Not just the beauty, but the feeling. Not just the face, but the heart. Your laugh, a thundercrack, soul-stealing. How strange, the first time I've been given such a start. A bolt to the mind, a desire for you to be mine. To capture this storm, furious yet warm. Furious, impactful, and yet ethereal, impactful. Bright and dangerous, all sense as I should run. And yet, I desire nothing but becoming closer. The risk, what fun. Trapped in your eyes, the eye, this eye. To leave would mean that my heart would die. Stuck in the center of a torrent, serene and benign, a window to the soul, a gateway inside, only magnifying my desire for the storm to be mine. A moment passed, gone too soon, was it not meant to last? Stunning grace, slipping away far too fast, gone with the wind, left to the past. The maelstrom rages on, and yet it feels peaceful, a warm feeling to get. Gone down the line, propelled along rails. I reminisce about it now, a quest to reclaim that embrace I shall not fail. Lord, I stare at the sky, simply wondering at my luck, why? For now, all I desire is to gaze once more into the eye.
Now, Francesco. Did I pronounce that correctly? I'm trying to pronounce everybody's name correctly. I'm really trying here. You attend All Hallows Catholic High School in the Bronx, correct? And I've heard a lot about your teacher, Mrs. Holly Odo. Was she an inspiration to you joining this competition, or what was your inspiration for this poem?
All right. So I found about this society thing for some stupid extra credit. um, and first off, I was like, okay, I've actually never really written poems like that before. So I thought I was like, okay, I'll just submit something, I'll get extra credit. But as I was scrolling, I guess, through the website, I found that Confessions poem. And I guess in of itself, it was just very, I guess it spoke to me because actually, the backstory, my grandma used to suffer from dementia, and it was pretty hard. But I always hold those special moments that I had with her that are like good in my heart. And essentially, I just started writing, and I got this. So, yeah. Unforgettably forgettable. Okay. In memories, we find an unforgettable, cherished light that guides us through life's endless and unpredictable flight. But when a mind succumbs to cruel dementia's blight, our once treasured memories begin to fade. With confusion and forgetfulness starting to take hold, the cherished moments become a story untold, and we are left with nothing but despair and woe as precious memories cease to flow. But let us not lose hope in this plight, for even in the depths of a forgetful night, we can still find moments of pure delight and bask in the joy that's bright. For just like in Confessions, we can see, even in the midst of life's uncertainty, there is still a sense of love and sweetness, a joyous plea, which we can hold on, making us eternally free. So let us cherish the memories that for a time being remain, and find comfort in a love that never wanes. For though they may forget, it is not in vain. and love will always light the way once again. Thank you.
Now, if you look, I just wanted to explain how this contest worked, all right? Just so that we have a complete transparency, right? So we have the very famous Professor Robert Kramer sitting here in the front row. He was one of the judges. Let's give a warm round of applause for Professor Kramer. Also a very famous painter who is not here, Bob Gibbons, was also one of the judges. And if you notice, we all had our little ratings, right? In pink, blue, and gray pencil. So the number one poem out of all of the poems as far as grade wise, and I'm not a teacher and I participated. I was just doing like, I don't know what an A is or a B is, but I'll throw something down there. Our number one winner was Hanna-Rebecca Douglas out of Gramercy Arts High School with the highest score of 27. Now, Hannah, the title of the poem is BC. Can you explain the title and the inspiration?
And C is one of the initials of my two dogs, Bonbon and Charlie. I wasn't going to name it with their full initials because I didn't want it to sound too much like the actual channel BBC. Okay. Yeah, so my inspiration was I obviously spent a lot of time observing them, and when I thought that people could learn lessons from animals and how they live, and try to apply to how we live as people, and how to become less stress-free.
I don't ever read poetry, but I'm going to read it for you. Do you mind if I read the poem for you? Okay. All right, this is BC by Hanna-Rebecca Douglas. The day dawns, but that doesn't matter much to the balls of fur at my feet. They lie curled, tired out from a long night of scrambling down the hall. Teeth bared and tails up, they dash through the night, illuminating the darkness with streaks of white. Later, one launches into the air like a bird, while the other becomes one with the ground underneath, both thinking about what to do when the world wakes up. As the sun rises into place, they bark incessantly, their most important worry being the sound of the elevator. They know nothing about responsibility, not the worry of chasing the green papers with faces, nor sitting quietly as information is seared into their brains. When the day goes by, they simply tug on a rope and chew on a toy, digging their heels into the planks, a fire alight in their eyes. The squeak rings across the building, further strengthening their determination, where their only concern was about who would win their contest. Not of their safety if someone were to break in, nor the ravenous hunger of a fire. Finally, the door creaks open. I try to walk as they leap happily at me, whining and barking their complaints for the day. The toy resurfaces as they bring it to my feet, squeaking endlessly at every bite. They do not know about the exhaustion I have for the day, not the rush, as I try to understand the most of my studies each day, nor of the taxing weight of speeding past as I try to not fall asleep in time to get home. They barely know anything at all. They stare with their curious eyes and gaping mouths, wondering about whatever duties a four-legged creature may have. I wonder what they would do if they were to have the experience of a human, and what I would do if I had the blissful simplicity of a dog. That's Hanna-Rebecca Douglas, ladies and gentlemen. So the vice president of the New York Browning Society, Professor Robert Kramer, is the former director of international studies at Manhattan College in Riverdale. He's a widely published scholar, poet, playwright, critic, and translator of European literature. He also served as an officer in the United States Army. We would love to address you guys right now, and I think we should have a warm round of applause for Vice President Robert Kramer, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd like to speak with you very briefly this evening. I know some of us are probably getting a bit hungry at this point, so this will be short. But first, I want to thank the parents and family members who raised and supported these boys and girls, and also the teachers who educated them, and that's made it possible for them to reach the level where they are now, willing and able to compete in a citywide poetry contest in the greatest city in the world. I know to accomplish this, many of you had to endure hardships and sorrow along the way. Thank you again to all you parents and family and teachers. I was one of the judges of the contest. I read every poem that was submitted. It was a very moving experience. Poetry very often reveals things unnoticed or ignored in everyday life, such as the anxiety, the pain, the uncertainty, the fear that all of us at times experience. But we experience but don't talk about. We're often unsure about what is really going on or what the future will bring. Among the poets today, I think of one who was deeply concerned about her parents, about their response to her performance and achievement, about whether she was living up to their expectations. Others felt a sense of meaninglessness in their own lives. Only very few found solace in religious faith. And then there were the numerous poems about love. This is to be expected. The joyous aspects, but also about the anxious moments, the uncertainty, the unfulfilled yearning, the despair when someone loved no longer loved. Then the worries about school, or the secret fear of not being liked or admired by your schoolmates, the need, especially among girls, to appear a certain way to satisfy the expectations of their classmates, not to be laughed at or near that. It takes courage to be different. And then the need to feel sexually attractive, whether to the opposite sex or to the same sex. Then there is a special problem more common among boys, the need to look sharp, cool, and confident on top of things. The macho disguise, never to show fear or anxiety or weakness. Wear a mask, laugh a lot. Don't let the others know what you're really feeling inside. Then there's the need to have a friend, someone you can talk with intimately. Unfortunately, it is often difficult for us, for young people especially, to confide in their parents. I'm sure many of you have experienced this. We love our parents, but we don't tell them everything. And all of us at times feel loneliness. Not to mention problems arising from society, racial concerns, financial concerns, and simply worries about those we love, aging grandparents, or mothers and fathers who seem to be at odds, or a father who is frequently or always absent. Poetry is not only the skillful use of language to produce a work that is beautiful and moving and instructive, something for the whole world to read. It is also something potentially valuable for the serious poet herself or himself. Earnest labor at writing a poem, of course, produces good mental habits like diligence, careful observation, accuracy in reporting, precision in describing. These same habits and skills can be turned to good account in your own life, for they encourage you to look around you, at your family, at your neighborhood, at your school, at your country, and to search out what is really going on, not to be content merely with the surface, but to look around corners, open doors, and peer down into the depths. This careful examination also applies to yourself. Of course, looking into the depths of yourself can be scary, and we may not like all that we see there. But I believe it is better for the self to know as much as one can of the self. Better to face painful or disconcerting presences in full daylight rather than obscuring shadows for darkness. This is what our greatest poets have done in the past. There is a personal value in formulating your thoughts, putting them into coherent sentences, clarifying your own thoughts and feelings for your own understanding. Shakespeare wrote, "When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past." He spoke of an experience that can be richly rewarding, both for the poet and for the person that the poet is. And I would like to conclude now. There are a few poets I think you might want to read. Those of you who are aspiring to be poets, a few modern poets who are not difficult and intriguing, maybe disturbing. So let me mention a couple of names for you to read. One is Robert Frost, who is well known. Maybe you've read something of his in school. I don't know if you've read William Carlos Williams, who was a doctor in New Jersey, who actually at first delivered a friend of mine, brought a friend of mine into the world. And then there was a woman poet you might not know, known by her abbreviations, H.D. Hilda Doolittle is a fine Imagist poet I think might inspire you. So those are a few of the poets I think would be good for you to read. And I have one last thing to say. Young poets, now it's your turn. Look, listen, labor, make good poems for others, but also make yourself deeper, wiser, happier. Thank you.
Now, if you guys are doing as good as he is at 91, that means you lived a good life, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say thank you so much for all of our amazing writers that have entered. You know, the truth is that only so many people can win. Only so many people can get on this on the short list. But we had so many great submissions this year, as Robert can attest to. And I want to encourage everyone, if you're not a senior going off to, you know, big fancy college this next fall, to submit again. To join the competition next year. And if you didn't make it this year, you might have a good chance of realizing that, you know, if you give it your all and you continue to make yourself a better writer. I think Robert Kramer was right. It's up to you kids, you know. And the only little adage that I could give is that if you stop getting better as a writer, then just stop. And I know that sounds whatever, but you constantly want to evolve as a writer, challenge yourself, and we are happy that you guys challenged yourself to join this competition. Let's give a warm round of applause for all these amazing students who joined the competition, the winners, the shortlist, Hanna-Rebecca Douglas, Francesco Macias, Noah Meserve, Kaitlyn Owens, Javien Vasquez, and Grace Katsivelos. Thank you so much for coming out, for all the teachers, the parents. I'm going to be sending out an email this weekend. We're going to have all this content available online at www.nybrowning.org, so you can share it with your friends, your family, because you guys did a fantastic job tonight. Thank you so much. Let's give one more round of applause for all of our winning poets. So after this, I don't know. President of the New York Browning Society, James Browning Keppel. Every now and again, I get an applause, but we'll save that. So our next season opens up. You'll be getting a newsletter. We're going to put you all in the newsletter. It's fantastic. Our next season opens up in October. We go October to May, and we look forward to seeing some of you get back for our May celebration. And, you know, we like to do collaborations with some of the schools. So maybe for next season, we'll be able to do an opportunity for some of you guys to come back and do some poetry with us for a particular session. I think that would be a lot of fun. Robert Kramer, any last words? Yeah. Thank you for everybody for coming out. It was a great evening. Get home safely, and we'll see you next season. Thank you so much.